Hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna start the stream soon. Oh, I already started streaming, rather. There you go. I can probably move a little bit so you guys can see the camera better. Let's also, let's put Spotify on the other side. Gonna get a good playlist going on. Which that kind of suck. It sucks that I feel that YouTube would have figured out something, because I mean, I'm gonna be listening to this playlist, but you guys won't hear anything. And I think it's sometimes chill to I don't know, put some music on the streaming. That way everybody who's like tuning in can like get the vibe. But yeah, I'm just going to avoid getting copy strike, and thus just put it for my entertainment. Okay, so let me put that. Let's pop up the chat. All right, that's YouTube right there. I'll make it that big. Now let's pop up Twitch. I wonder if... Hey Anurag, how you doing? Hello. Where's this? Let's see. I want to pop up the Twitch chat. There you go. Alright. Actually, you know what? Let's see if I can do a Primogen type of thing where... There you go. Wait, is there... I want to send this to the other... desktop. No. There you go. So then what's the Primogen thing? Like, I go like that? No, what? Hold on. Okay. Gonna have that. And then I put them side by side. There should be like a fourth. Well, that's cleaner, I feel. That way I can just go like... But I don't know if that is recorded or not, because I cannot see OBS because I have it on my white screen. But oh well. The intricacies of Mac. I actually don't know if I like this, to be honest. I think this may be better. Cause that way I always have it there. I don't have to be toggling. All right. Anyway, let's start. So let's put it there so you guys can see. The web application. Let's make it dark, please. Dark mode. And let's start coding. We don't have this connected. All right. So, what did I want to do? Create a game report. So let's say I want to pick a date. So let's say today I played. So it'll be today. The time will be at 9 p.m. Location soccer cage. So there's no fields that match that description. So we have soccer cage. Yeah, no, that's not it. Reports, groups, games. I should probably add here a fields. Let's see how quick can I do that. Jesus, I'm switching. Like I recently changed. There you go. I'm recently changed keywords, so I'm getting used to the keys. So I still yet to like remember all the keyboard shortcuts. For NeoVim for this keyboard, like reaching with my hand and whatnot. That's what I mean. So I would do seed React icons. Could you suggest some standard project ideas that will help me build a strong portfolio and stand out in potential employers? Go back in development. Yes, Anurag. So what I would say is that if you want to stand out as a backend developer, so right now, how can I put it? As a backend developer, these are the things, and I don't know if I should do like a Figma or a FigJam. People moved out or like moved away from Excalibur, and to be honest, it's a little bit slow. And Figma is just faster. Actually, let me see if I have the app. So I'd rather do the desktop app than the web. Let's see. Con nadie, estoy streaming. Oof. That is very right. There you go. That's better. Untitled Fig Jam. There you go. This also will be preserved in a version. I'll do that later. Theme. So much for just explaining something, but view. You know what? I'll do this later. But all right, Anorak, let's get to this. So the things that I will say that you need for a backend development portfolio is the following. Things to have, things you want to show you know. So if I would be hiring or looking for backend developers, I would be looking for obviously someone that can design API. So knowledge of API development, design. So damn, that's all right. And that would be kind of like, what type of APIs am I expecting? So I'm expecting, that's so weird that Figma does that. Okay. I would be expecting REST APIs, GraphQL, even though they're not as common. A little bit of knowledge of gRPC. And I feel that I'm missing something. I feel those are the major ones. Like, you can get away with not knowing sockets. You should know sockets, but it's not that common to ask people, and I feel that it's so easy to just learn that it's fine. No databases. That would be PostgreSQL, MySQL. I think with those you're good, because any SQL, because once you know an SQL, you're good. MongoDB. And maybe Redis is not really a database, but it's a caching system. It's a way of storing key values, so you could say it is a database, but it's more for caching rather than for actual persistence. But knowing that, and no knowledge of a cloud platform, probably the most on demand would be AWS, but if not, either Google Cloud Platform or Azure. Maybe Azure in corporate has more opportunities. A little bit of DevOps. I wouldn't say much, because as a backend developer, you're not in charge of doing DevOps, but you should know DevOps. So by that, I mean CD, CI, CD, and this used to be like Jenkins, blah, blah, blah. Now it's actually a lot. GitHub Actions, GitLab pipelines, anything that comes integrated with whichever cloud repo storage provider you're using, and testing. Oh, and Docker. And well, probably a little bit of system design. And I know that this sounds like a lot. Now, how can you put this on a portfolio? So, except from system design, what I would do is create, and this tends to be very easy by creating a full stack application where you have the use of all these technologies and a front end technology. You could use, so I actually like a lot Go tempo. So Go plus tempo, which is Golang templates plus tempo library. So that's like, you still have to use JavaScript, but Jesus. Oh my god. But you like it's actually very light, and it's actually very cool. So I want to do a video about Golang and tempo. I already have a project, but I need to continue it. And then projects to show in a portfolio, or Go plus React or Vue or Solid or Angular or Svelte, or choose whatever you want, but deploy it. So one of these, I would probably go with React if you want better employability, or Vue. And you want to deploy this in AWS, Azure, or GCP. And in order to create your portfolio site, I would do the simplest thing. So I'm using Amplify, which Amplify is just like connecting your static website into AWS via GitHub, GitLab, etc., Bitbucket, whatever. And then through the static, you can just like add links to your actual full stack applications, and that's it. So you'll build this, Go React plus whatever SQL or no SQL flavor, and then you'll add that in GitHub, and then you'll deploy that in AWS or whichever cloud provider, and then you put that into your static website, and then you do multiple of those. If you're a backend software engineer and you're applying for backend positions, I think you can have something that's not pretty looking, kind of like Craigslist, which is very ugly, admittedly, but it has a lot of logic there, and you can show all the functionality. So as long as you can show functionality, that's what people are most interested in. And just put it in your portfolio, and know that you have domain of these things. Even though it seems a lot, it's actually not as much, because you can create one single project where probably the most common is a REST API with either Postgres or MySQL, and probably I would have a bias towards these two because these are the most used. And then, you can later add caching or not. I think it's good to learn, but it's not like super important. Probably choose AWS, create a GitHub action pipeline that whenever you merge a PR, you run tests, and then once you run tests and they pass, you can also automatically deploy. And it's simpler than what you think, and you can do that for both React and MySQL. Monitoring, queue messaging. Hey, James Mendes. I think that those are very important, but I think maybe I don't know like what level, because I think those are important, but depends. Queue messaging, it also depends. I don't think it's like something super important to show in your portfolio, because someone that may have those things but doesn't have good domain of these others, then I would probably have biased to someone that may not know about queue messaging. About queue messaging, that could be either Kafka, could be RabbitMQ. Is it with double B? I don't know. That could be Amazon SQS, any type of queue. So, and a queue essentially, as it sounds, kind of like a stack and a queue. A queue queues events. And the reason for having a queue is that you can have a distributed system. What that means is that you don't have a system that's monolithic, or you can have a system that may have asynchronous events. And for example, let's say that you're trying to buy, as a user, you're trying to buy tickets for a movie theater. Well, actually, that also needs a little bit of like latency and a session and whatever, and probably a lock-in system. But yeah, maybe queue is not the best. Anyway, you start storing the events in the queue, and that way your source of truth is the queue. So that way, instead of going on a database that is deployed, let's say in Africa, and then you also have your software in America, and then you also have your software in Europe, instead of going zone by zone. I mean, I can get into so many topics here, because actually, like, you probably have a distributed queue, and then also you have to reconcile. But anyways, the point of this is that with a queue, you try to abide by the queue rather than like the individual systems that are distributed, and that's how you avoid processes that go out of order, or that they don't make sense if another event happened that affects a process. And let me put this very visually. Let's say that you have a bank account, and let's say that let's say that this is the company account, so it has international access. And let's say, just for the sake of the example, the bank account has $200. Someone in Australia has access to the bank account, and they can easily, because they have the right to retrieve, let's say $200. The bank account has 500, and then someone in France wants to actually withdraw all of it. So the importance of a queue here is that first you register somebody retrieving the $200 out of the total of 500. So now there's only 300 left, and then someone in France, when that person is trying to retrieve all of the 500, it's saved on a queue. The system goes by the queue, and then that attempt to retrieve $500 won't be possible because another event happened prior, and then that operation to retrieve all of the money in the bank account is not going to be possible anymore. Now, the cool thing here is that maybe the France system is faster than the South Africa or Africa system, and maybe in real time, like the process in France is processed faster, but the message that was stored on the queue was actually recorded first from South Africa. So then because someone in, like, even though it took longer to process, but actually in real life time, someone in South Africa processed this first. They have the right to retrieve the money first. I don't know. Maybe it's not as good as an example, but hopefully that was a little bit explanatory. Doesn't matter if I use a framework, Gene 5 or etc., or should I build everything from scratch for a better showcase of my skills for Go? Honestly, just build whatever you can. If that's Gene 5 or Echo standard library, use whatever you want. I think the most important thing right now with AI is to build. So if that is using a framework, use a framework. If that's building from scratch, build from scratch. In my opinion, I think so. Golang standard library is so good that you don't need a framework. It's not like JavaScript where you need Node, or Java that you need Spring Boot, or C# that you need a .NET framework. Golang comes with all the tools needed. So like it kind of has its framework built in, so to speak. So that's why I tend to recommend not to go with a framework. You can use a router. I like to use Qi, But if you use Echo, Echo is almost exactly the same as using the standard library and using Qi router library. So in my opinion, just use whichever framework abides the closest to standard library. And I believe that Echo is one of those. I wouldn't, my personal opinion is don't use Jin or Fiber, but if you already have a project in Jin or Fiber, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Just go with it. Deploy something. Once you have something deployed, then learn something else. I think for learning purposes, I think it's good to stick to the standard library. So use Echo framework or use standard library plus a router like Qi or Gorilla Mux. But yeah, that's if you have the time and if you can build fast. But right now, if you want to get a job, your priority is to showcase your products. Or you can use Gorm. Gorm is very common. I don't like to use ORMs like I have here. If I go to game store, so here I'm just doing raw SQL, and I'm using a driver to insert the values here, right? So I have my ID here, right? So I'm passing the ID here, group ID, which is, this right here. So this is very easy to read because it's SQL, but I can also see the appeal of using Gorm. I don't know. I kind of like raw SQL, but especially when you start to learn, but there are some advantages to using ORMs, which Gorm is a really good one. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't love ORMs, but this is the most popular one. So if you want to use that, yeah, you can use that. But I would say those are the things that I would focus on. Could you suggest some project ideas for building a strong portfolio? I'll build them and share it with you. Honestly, whatever you feel like building. I think there's no really strong ideas. I think it's something that you are passionate about. Let's say if you like Pokemon cards, build a Pokemon cards full stack application. If you like, I like soccer, so I'm building a soccer application. So I can create a game. I can select a field. I can put number of max players. I'm not gonna put it in the description. Please select and I'm on the list. Oh, I didn't select the field. Interesting. Soccer panel. Oh, there's okay. There's something going on here. Okay, so I need to fix that. All right, I'll fix this. But what I want to show you here is that this is what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about soccer, and I have some graphics here, some stats. So when you show somebody what you're passionate about, they can see the passion, and people appreciate that. So don't build something too crazy. Just build something that you are passionate about. So whatever you like, build around that. That's what I would say. Just try to, this is because, so I'm doing this because me and my friends have we keep track of games in an Excel sheet. So what I want to do is, where's this? So I go to my groups. So here I have some games. Obviously this is still in process, but okay, this is actually, I need to actually make this dynamic. But let's say that I want to display the date of the game, this again fake, but I want to build this into the actual web page. I mean the actual view page. Sorry, with the actual data, where I put the result, the total points that like. Yeah, actually I need to change this. This doesn't make sense. But what I want to show is like cool graphics, and a lot of this is just like front end, and I'm implementing little by little the dynamic aspect of it. But when you show people what you're passionate about, they, you know, they appreciate that. So again, just build something that you're passionate about. Reports. Okay, so let's change this. Where was I? Site nav. Let's get rid of this. I want to put fields. No games. Grass. Pitch. Mountain. I don't know. I just want to put like a field. Square. A rectangle maybe. I don't know. I guess this can look like a basketball pitch, but I know we're dealing with soccer, but I don't know. I'll need to come up with a better logo. For now, something so it's not taking the notebook pen logo. Rectangle circle? Did I misspell it? No way, this is wrong. This is like V2. What? Wait, what? Reports. Rectangle circle. Am I tripping here? Seat. Oh. Oh yeah, it's right. What the hell? Rectangle horizontal, that's why. Okay. Alright, there you go. Reports. Now let's change this to fields. Okay, now let's go here. Source app. Let's do fields. CSX. What the hell? I know I've used this before. Alright. Yeah, there you go. I know I have no errors, so I'll go with that. Okay. Reports page. Container. I'm asking because I like to understand what recruiters look for in a go back-end candidate, like types of projects or skills that really stand out. I'll be honest with you. I think recruiters sometimes care more about your experience rather than your projects. Like you can have no projects whatsoever, and they'll look more at where have you worked before and what have you done at work. So unfortunately, if you have no project to showcase, it's going to be harder. So the projects that you can showcase are full stack applications where you implement a lot of all those skills that I mentioned, which are all of these. And these are like very standard. I think what James Mendes was mentioning, monitoring is also really good. So know about so you need logs in order to know what happened, and you need monitoring. So some sort of, well, there's Grafana for monitoring, but there's more monitoring tools out there. And this, like whenever a server is down, where if something like crashed, so that is important. But I think monitoring it's important, but I would say login is more important. So log us or logrus or Zap, which is Uber's library. But login is very important because that can be later saved somewhere, and then you can see like where was the error, etc., etc. So logs, very important. So that's what recruiters want to see. Recruiters want to be able to see that you can do REST APIs generally. GraphQL is somewhat popular, but I think this is the safest bet. They want to see that you can use whether Postgres, MySQL, and I think Mongo is important to know how to use too. That you have domain of a cloud platform, specifically AWS, and I would be very specific about knowing how to use EC2, ECS, ECR, knowing how to do or how to use API gateway, knowing how to use S3, knowing how to use what else? I think those are the main ones. Well, RDS, which is like the database service that AWS provides. So how can I say it? Like your Postgres will be hosted in RDS or Google Platform or whatever. So that's knowing how to use GitHub and GitHub Actions or GitLab or Bitbucket, and testing and Docker. And probably somewhat, I would say it's good to have knowledge of system design. Depends of the seniority. The more senior the job position is, the more you should know about system design. So yeah, That's what I, as a recruiter, would want to see on a candidate. Okay, so let's do fields. I wonder if I have this in storage. Selected field, interesting. Okay, so this is for the front end, that's good. So I'm gonna go to services. Okay. So I started doing that. Fields, get all. Okay. So now let's go to hooks, fields, use field, get fields. Okay, that's good. What else? What else do I want to do? Well, I definitely want to add the create fields function. Which apparently it's better to do simple and separate it. Use create field. So for example, it would be like this. And let's open that there, and let's open API fields, and then let's do create field, where I would do async promise void, because when I create, I won't return anything. And then I would do const token equals get cookie using the cookie string, const response equals await fetch, and then we just pass the URL where I want to do fields, and let me see. Oh damn, I don't have the create fields route. Damn. Alright, that's something that I want to do in a bit, but I think it's not that important for now. I will want to focus on that later. I think I have most of this. Okay. Now let's see what's happening. Why this doesn't select. If I go to views, nope. Reports. If I go to groups, I wanna to see group create. This should trigger the modal. Trigger modal from groups view. Because currently I do have a trigger, but the trigger is from the home page, where, well, rather from the home page, from the group detail. Right here I have create game report, and then it pops up. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Search fields. Let's say that I want to put vertical. I played today at 9 p.m. This is not selected. Okay. Yeah, okay. this is in the create game model. We'll do it like that because it's not implemented in the backend, and I'll go into a rabbit hole. But I don't want to go to that yet. Fields. Jesus, I hate how Tailwind does all of this. So I like to do the following. Just go like that. Wait. And that's it. So, I mean, this is me being picky, but I do think it's a little bit cleaner. Anyway. That makes sense, but what about freshers? Since we don't have experience, isn't building strong products the best way to show us skills? Yes and no. I think showing that you're capable to build something that has value is more important than showcasing something that's very complex and has no value. And what I mean by that is that if I have a candidate that is passionate about Pokemon cards and he creates a web application that shows the Pokemon cards that he has, and this web application is a market for other people to put the Pokemon cards and exchange them, and not even with money, just exchange them for free. And like that is actually used. And then you have somebody that created a car marketplace that is a fake one, and then everything is pristine and super nice, but it's fake. I would probably go with someone that is actually solving a problem, because ultimately, and that's me, and I could be biased, and maybe like the recruiters are not that good at their job, and they say like, no, I want the guy that created the car marketplace because it looks better. I don't know, but in my opinion, I want someone that is actually solving a problem rather than building something nice. Because when you solve a problem, doesn't matter how simple it is, it means that you put thought into it and you say like, you know what, people don't have this, and I have this skill to create software to make people's lives easier, so I'm gonna build this. So in my head, doesn't matter how simple the application is, if people use it, or even not even people use it, if you use it and there's actual value provided for you, that's way better than someone building a 100th e-commerce website that like no one will ever use. Now, if you give me the option between someone that hasn't built anything versus someone that built the e-commerce website, yeah, sure, I'd rather someone that built an e-commerce website. But then if there's someone that built an e-commerce website and then someone that built like something simple like a Pokemon marketplace, Pokemon cards marketplace, or someone that created a web application where they can follow diets, or someone that has a web application that you can, I don't know, track the people that can walk your dog, like those things, but that are actually used. I would rather that candidate. And I know I'm being very like maybe general, and sometimes like well, actually no, like you can put a lot of processing and thought into a dog walking application, and you can put chat, you can do GPS live tracking, like you can get very very creative with that. So I would, again, I don't think something super complex is always the best. I think something that is useful and that is solving a problem is the best, in my opinion. But then again, not everybody thinks like me, and then maybe you have a recruiter that says otherwise, and he rather see like an e-commerce website instead of Pokemon card marketplace. But I think the key here is if there is value added. I think that's the key part here. If you're adding value, that's the best. Unchange and limp unchange. So I have form data. So normally what I do is that I don't love how this is done. No, actually, never mind. I've done this before. But this gives me trouble, so sometimes I can do the following. Set from data, and then I just do well, here I pass the event, and here I just do give me everything that I had before from the form data, and then just the location attribute, set it equal to e.target.value. And then, oh, I need to do that because I'm kind of like create a new object. Location, do I have to put it to string? I sometimes forget. Yeah, like that. What am I? Oh, there you go. Okay, so I was not going crazy. Location. Wait, what do I have in the form data? Form data. Field ID. Damn it. Okay. I put location. There you go. Now, okay, that's why. So I'm just gonna do this where it filters. I could probably make it nicer, but I just want to test it. what? Was the game not created? For 4. Not found. Oh, get. What about the post? Quick game report. Wait, didn't. Could have sworn I was triggering that. Oh my god. Well, that is why. Jesus. Okay. Use mutation data is there, but it's not used. Query client, better way invalidate queries. It's not that bad. Okay. I'm gonna leave it a little bit smaller, the font. So I'm gonna use Claude Code because I haven't used TanStack and I want to know how to properly do this. I want to trigger the use mutation when submitting form data in that component. Alright, use create game, yeah. Which is the and I'm gonna pass the form data. Oh, no. Probably I want to use a mutation. Okay. So I have here the use create game, and then so here in use fields I have that. So probably I want to use a mutation, use create game. Oh, duty calls. Okay, let's finish this and then I'll quit the stream here. Okay, I want to write this myself. so this is a change that Claude did. So now handle submit. So delete this, and then it's saying create game mutation dot mutate form data. That looks good. Wait, title. Okay, let's get rid of that. Really? Time doesn't exist? Take already no replace, okay. Assign. Max players. What do I have in Golang? Game. Number of players. Yeah, that's fine. So I have ID, date, group ID, time, field ID, field number. I should probably make that optional. Number of players, message. Oh, I think this for the error. Yeah. Number of players, and then created and updated that. Yeah, this is not needed for the payload. Ooh. Okay. Wait, what? Showing us of type number. Number of players. Oh yeah, that is a number. 5. Okay. Description is also not needed. Now what? Field number is missing. Type what? Oh yeah, it is. Alright, that's done. I should probably going to need to add the input. I see that the file has been used me to snap integrated. Okay, cool. I'm just tired. So add the missing properties from the what is it in interface? Game.ts. TS use Shazien. Message no. Add field number, input field. What? Why? Add file. So add message. Okay, whatever. I'll delete it right now. Field to be based on search query. Yeah, that's fine. Why? Okay, I'll change max players for just number of players. I don't know why there's message, so I'll get rid of that. Actually, you know what? Except for the message property. I'm planning to build a platform where users can submit feedback, vote on ideas, and discuss features aiming to help small teams collect, prioritize input in one place. Yeah, if that's something that you're passionate about, do it. Could be like a feedback or like a forum or like a documentation. I mean, there's already a Notion, but if you use it, then by all means, go for it. Again, I think the important thing here is that you get value out of it. So I'm not a huge fan of all these tools like Claude Code. Actually, let me rephrase. I like to use a lot of this for front end, but I don't know. I started using Claude Code that last week because I don't want to not know what it can do. Perfect. I added field number. The form now includes put fields in product. Okay, cool. So I can close this. Okay. Now what I do is I press Command E. Okay. Level max players. Sometimes I don't like that it doesn't like show the freshest. Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but before it was like max players, now it's number of players, which is the correct property here. Number of players, yeah. This, I don't know why this is here, so I don't need a description. So when I go ahead and create a game report, field number, max players, select a field. Now that looks better. When I search, now I see 1 instead of 3. If I put empty, it gives me also something cool. I'll put 1, max players, I'll do 12. And the post didn't go through, but at least we got something going on. Cannot marshal string into struct field gave number of players type into an int. Ooh. Interesting. This is why doing something general like this, I don't like it, because I believe the value could be posted here as a string by default. So I could do set form data, then do form data, and then do number of players, where here I'm just passing the event. I can do the target value. All right, I think that fixes it. Okay, let's try this again. So break for Brickle, field number 1, number of players. What? Okay. Anyway. And successfully created a game. Boom. And it automatically added the game here. Awesome. So this is working. Let's create another game. Let's say that I'm going to play. Let's say that I played on Monday, and I played at 7 p.m. Oh shoot. Wasn't I missing a lot of things? I need to check like form validation. This is pretty awful. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, I need to be able to see like either the details here right away. I don't care for the field ID, to be honest. I care for the field name or field address. And this shouldn't say players. This is in the groups. game dot okay. I don't know. I need to work on this. Oof. I need to go to sleep. Anyway, I think I'm gonna be streaming this. I want to showcase where I get to. I think I have a good start. There's a lot of static data that I just want to have it for the sake of showcasing this. But overall, I think this is a rewrite of the one that I had before, where you can now create a group. So I'm gonna put test YouTube. So I need to also have like a listener for this. Anyway, test YouTube. I go here. So I have 0 reports, 0 players in the group. Actually, this is wrong. It should say 1. Why does this say 0? I also need to display the name of the group because let's say if I go here, okay, I don't know. This is probably wrong. Yeah, I'll fix this. Actually, let me see if I can fix it quickly. What? But I have myself here. Wait, my brain is fried. What? I just want to see this. Wait, am I tripping? Is that a type number? No, members is not a number. It's an array of Leon. By the way, I'm a Redux Toolkit guy. As Redux Toolkit package already comes with Redux Toolkit query, which is a huge benefit as I don't have to use any data fetch libraries extra. Yeah, that is nice, but it's been a while since I've used Redux, and I find Zustand just that much easier. And TanStack, so the mix between TanStack and Zustand, I just like it better. But if you like Redux Toolkit, then by all means, yeah, stay with it. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Actually, before going into, because I was gonna go into Postman. What was I gonna do? Groups, go. Members. Oh. It is of type number. Wait, so why is this? So if it is of type number. Oh. Where am I putting a string? What the hell? Oh, that's the components error. Okay. Members. Why is that undefined? I mean, obviously the backend is not returning properly, but am I not getting the single group? There could be another reason. What? Oh my god. I don't know if I'm too tired to. god. Why am I not getting the group? Jesus. Are you pushing user ID into the members array? If so, then you can count the length of the array and display it. It's not, yeah, it's not an array of total players. I actually purposefully returned a number here, so it's not an array. So if I go here to groups.go, because I also thought it was an array, but here I have it as an int. So if I go to get group by ID, create row context scan. Yeah, where I pass in the ID. Why do I have the name? What? Wow. That's why. It's not implemented properly. Wow. Okay. Probably one of my 4 a.m. doings where I missed finishing the functionality properly. Get user groups. No. Get games. No. Dios mío. Where's the group ID again? Should be this. Okay, let's log in. Okay, so I log in. What? No groups were found. Am I tripping? No groups were found. Okay, so there's an error in the router probably. Get all groups. What? Delete, get user ID. I probably need to change this because otherwise it's going to be confusing. Where's the G? Oh. Damn. Okay, I forgot I was missing this. So essentially I wanna do something similar to what's already there. Then I wanna get the group. Where I'll pass this ID. And I'll handle that. And I can use a map. So I could probably use string and string. Okay, if everything goes right, then I could do h dot to-dos, change the endpoints where before it was groups, user ID, now groups back user ID. Also groups by group ID. Well, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'm gonna be developing this. You guys will see the improvement. I'm gonna have to go. See you guys later. And